I'll just share my screen so you can see the results as they come in.
And Eric, one question.
Yeah.
Yesterday at a PD with Moira, she mentioned Wakelet, and that's something she uses to organize her Google Docs. And I wondered if you had tried that or had an opinion on it yourself.
I've never used it.
Yeah,
I don't have an opinion. Yeah,
because it seems like there certainly is an organizing system within Google, but she uses this one as a way of organizing the unorganizable. Maybe I'm not sure.
Is it for organizing it for students, like organizing it for outside eyes?
I don't think so. I think it's mainly for herself. She finds it a better system, or maybe more transparent system. I'm not sure. It's called Wakelet.
So WAKELET. I mean, I've heard of it, but I haven't used it. So.
Yeah, I just explored it a little bit, but after she mentioned it.
Okay. Yeah, something for us to look into.
Awesome.
I'm not familiar with, so I'll have to take a look. We've got, so far, I believe 4 responses. Anyone else want to respond here and on the survey before we move forward? Just trying to get a sense of what we should focus on today. So I'm seeing learning how to delete a file or folder, find a file or folder, create folders for different purposes, organize files. Let's see, let me look at the question. Create a system for keeping, I forgot what this question is. Let's see here. Oh, maybe I can go this way. Create a system for keeping students' papers and assignments. Actually, so how to duplicate files? Good question. Do I need to keep past submitted assignments from students? I assume, is that what that question means?
No, what happened is I checked my Google Drive since I was doing it, and they said I have 89% storage. And when I look, they are all the assignments I uploaded and the student submissions. I don't want to have to buy any more. I don't want to buy any more space. So my thing is, can I delete from like last year when I started to use it till the end of January this year, delete all of those. So I will get back my storage space for if we go viral next semester.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense to me. So storage, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit.
Okay. I like deleting.
I think it's a good strategy to keep make sure. Otherwise, it just grows and grows and grows, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's see here. Is there anything else that's how to duplicate files? We got that. Create system. Okay. So it looks like maybe we'll start with creating a Google Doc and other kinds of files, deleting a file or folder, sharing. Maybe we don't need to worry about sharing just now, but let us know if it comes up. Finding files, and then just like organization. Okay, so this sort of corresponds to what I thought we would be talking about. Seems like a real interest is about really organizing and having a system. So let's see what we can do about that. What I would like to do is share my screen. Here. So what I'd like to do, yes, okay, sorry. I'm going to share a different screen here. So right now, I think you're looking at a Google Drive. Is that correct?
You're looking at the one where you said 5 responses.
Nope. There we go. There we go. How about now?
Yes, I'm seeing it. Yes.
Okay. So what I'd like us to try right now, I'm going to ask you to tell me everything you know, or tell us everything you know about the screen. And let's take a second just to look around, and I'll take notes. I'll find a place to take notes. I'm going to try and annotate the screen as you talk about it. By the way, we're in an account that it's not my main account. This is a sort of a dummy account I created for, it's like a pretend student account. I'll show you my actual account in a minute. But when you look around at this screen, what do you already know about what can you tell us about what you're seeing?
Well, it's Google Drive, and there is the plus option to create new folders or documents or sheets or presentations.
So wait, so one second on that. Where do you see that?
On the left-hand side, right below the Drive icon.
Right below the drive, this here, the plus new, this part?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so what is this?
It's where you click to add or create new documents or new folders, new Google Sheets or forms.
I see in your drive you've got different different categories. We have my drive open, and presently, the one thing I don't understand is what you're presently looking at, which file, but you have other files categorized: classroom, personal, teaching. That's under the, yeah, right there.
So these are different categories of files. Is that what you said?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I also see you have things uploaded.
Where do you see that?
You have across it at the top above, you have the letter. I see Eric Appleton, then I see some other set of files across the top of the page there, Spring, So you have documents already on the drive. You have these documents already stored there.
So is this what you were talking about as well, Michael? Like what these were?
That's the part I don't understand what status they're in. If those are presently open, I see it says suggested. So I suppose the system is suggesting these because you've recently had them open, or they're pertaining to something else you're doing now.
I think they are under my drive. So under plus, I see my drive. I think he clicked on it, and these are his drives. Maybe these are the drives he's currently working on.
But the fourth file says Eric Appleton shared today, so it's not really from my drive. I think it's all the files I opened recently.
So
Yeah. So it can be from my drive and also some files shared from other people.
yeah, so in this case, Eric Appleton is another person, right? Because my main Eric Appleton account is a different account. And so these, yeah, so some of these might not be saved in my drive. And this one here, I don't believe it's in my drive. I did open it recently, but it's not actually in my drive. I think Michael was saying these are suggested. Google's saying, are these the documents you want to open? You opened them recently. Maybe you want to go back and continue working on them. It's they're suggested, right? It's kind of like when you sometimes open a new tab in a browser. It's like you've been to these websites. Right. Do you want to go back to one of these websites you were at it before? So what else? What else do you see here that you know about?
I see you have the option on your left to trash stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't. The others are too blurry for me to check the thing. I think there's a report and all those other things, but you have options on the left-hand side to play out or report or do some kind of thing.
Sorry. So I'm sorry about the size of this. Maybe I should make it a little bit bigger. Let's see here, does this help? Maybe, I'm not sure if that helps or not. this says recent. So just to read these, it says my drive, computers, shared with me, recent, starred, and trash. And then below that says storage. Does anyone familiar with any of this stuff here?
I know the trash because I had to clean up, and I just clicked on, I went into my drive and I clicked in trash, and it had some stuff I was, practicing on, and I was able to delete it permanently from when I put it in trash. When you say to delete it, they ask you if you really want to do this permanently, and you might change your mind, or you will say yes, and then it's no more.
Right. So in this count, I actually have nothing in my trash. I'm sorry for all the annotations still there, but I have nothing in my trash. There's nothing to delete. But you may delete something, it doesn't go away until you delete it permanently, right? It may still count in your storage, by the way, right? So if you delete something, but you haven't completely emptied the trash, or however they say it. Any other
That's
sections
what's going
as you
on
look?
at the bottom section.
Yeah, here, right? They're trying. Is that what you mean? This part you mean?
Just that's giving you a bit of feedback as how much space is in your cloud storage there.
Right. Anything else here that you know about or you want to know about?
The owner of the folders or documents. I really like to see who the owner is when I think of a file or a document that I am looking for.
Right.
So let's say if Michael, I know that Michael has uploaded a document, I can just search here and then click or just do a search, but it gives me an idea of who's uploaded what.
Right, right. Okay, great. So let me save this image, and then I'm going to clear it, and I'm going to show you one other thing. Pause this 1 second. Share my other. So I'm going to share my other account. This is my actual account. My Gmail account, but I keep a lot of work stuff here and personal stuff here. So what do you notice now? Anything new stand out? And do you want me to, let me know if you want me to move, look inside any folders. Mostly an open book. You can't see my taxes with the other stuff.
Yeah, I see that the category is alphabetized. So.
Mm-hmm. It's alphabetized. Could be, it can be changed.
Oh,
right?
okay, that's interesting.
You can also do some organization by last modified. Let's say I want to look at the folder. That's the folder. I haven't looked at that folder since 2007, maybe. I can look at what I've used.
Or if you were,
say it again.
If you're, I only wanted to say, if you're in, we were talking about deleting from trash. If you're in deleting mode and want to get some more space, maybe you would click file size, seek out your biggest files and decide, here's a few I haven't used or I don't need, and I could get rid of those and free up a lot of space quickly.
Right.
I assume you could organize it by file size too.
That seems right. I'm not sure how to do that right at this moment, honestly.
I don't either. I don't either.
We're at a level where we're seeing folders. We're not really seeing files.
Yeah. And
I guess I have some files here. Here we go. Sorry, say it again.
No, I was gonna say that the folders, the icon of the folder is different when it's a shared folder.
How do you mean?
You can see the folder with the icon of the person.
Oh, right, two people or
Yeah, so what does that mean? There's some folders are just black and some have this little person. Then what does that mean?
It's a shared folder.
Yeah, so this is a folder, this biking folder is a folder that I've shared with other people. So if I click on it, and this is gonna be different on your computer. Maybe when I'm on a PC, I hit the right side of the trackpad, you might be hitting control click or something like that, but where you get a little menu that pops up, Are people familiar with doing that? This, I don't know, they call it like a contextual click sometimes, or a right click. It's something that becomes pretty useful in Google Drive. So if I right click on this and go to share, there's a bunch of different options here, but under share, you'll see that I've shared this with somebody. Okay, so I shared this folder with my wife. Right, so that's why it has that little person folder, or that little person icon. Okay, anything else stand out to you here that we should know about as we're getting the lay of the land?
So how did you create these categories?
All these folders? Yeah, I'll show you in just a moment. Good question. Yeah, so I think it was Maluska was mentioning over here, this is where you can create all kinds of new things, right? You can create files, Google Docs, sheets, slides, forms. But it's also where you can create folders. So just like a manila folder, just like a folder you would have on a computer, like on your desktop or something like that, you can create a folder here, file, new, folder.
So that's creating. What if I want to categorize or organize my existing folders?
Start moving things around.
So
let's try that. I'm gonna do it in the other account since it's sort of. I'm gonna do it in my student account. Let me switch over. Actually, one thing I'd like to do first. So I'm gonna hold that in mind just for a second. Do you have your Google Drive open? Like on the side? If you don't, take a moment and see if you can open a second tab where you have Google Drive open in an account. I mean, you can also just follow along, but it'll be, I think, more productive if you're able to kind of practice some of this stuff as we go.
I'm on my phone.
Okay. So that's fine. So you can follow along. It is actually, there is a Google Drive app that works pretty well. I often access documents.
Yeah, except when I tried to do the survey before, it threw me off the screen. I don't know enough about the phone to do that.
Got it. Well, so you follow along and then practice later, and that makes sense. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a few things. I'm going to stop the share just for a moment. I'm going to put a few things in the chat for us to work with. I can make sure I can find what I need here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to give you some Google documents that you can open. They're different CUNY Google documents. Just so we have a few documents that we can work with, that you can put in on your drive, that we can organize a little bit. I'm putting 3 different ones. They're little mystery documents. Once you open them, you'll see what they are. So I put 4 links in the chat, and then what I'm going to do is show you how I can open them and then actually add them to my drive. My guess is by now that you in one meeting or another, or with your students, you've looked at shared documents. We have created shared documents, but it took me a while to realize that I could also add a document that somebody created. I could add it to my drive so that I could organize it and save it and keep access to it. Because sometimes we give you things in a workshop that they try and find later, and God knows where it is, right? They gave it to me 6 months ago. I don't know how to find that. But you can actually save it on your drive. So let me show you how I do that. Okay. So I'm going to follow one of the links. So I'm opening up a second tab here. This is one of the links from the chat. Let me know if you can't see my screen. And when I open it up, it's opening up Kate's Earth Science lessons, right? So she has some new earth science lessons in Google Docs. So this actually is a folder. And it's a folder with multiple documents in it. So when when I shared this with you, I shared the link to the folder. But I'm opening it with my student dummy Gmail account. And so it shouldn't be saved on that account yet because it's actually created in a different account. So what I can do now is I can go up here to Kate's Earth Science Lessons and add a shortcut to the drive. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually adding this folder to my student account drive. So now it's asking me where do I want to put it? And so I'm going to go into my drive. And like you saw before, I have these 3 folders: classroom, personal, and teaching. So I'm going to go into teaching, Jamboards, lessons, math materials, readings for students. I think I'll put it in lessons. So I open up lessons and I add a shortcut. I'm adding a shortcut because it's still Kate's file, right? I'm just storing the shortcut to the file on my drive. So I hit add shortcut. And now when I go back to my drive here, go to teaching, go to lessons, there it is. So it'll be there in the future. So I was actually, in preparation for this, I was realizing I go to workshops all the time. I get all kinds of Google Docs, different Google files, and I never save them. But I often want them later, and I search through old emails and things like that. I'm going to try and get myself in the habit of storing things and filing them as I go to workshops. So maybe I'll do one more. Now that was a folder that I was adding. I also gave you links that were directly to files. So let's look at one of those. So here, I'm again going in and putting in this link. When I click on this one, this is the first link in the chat. Okay, so this is the link to all the notes for this series of meetings that we're doing this week and next week. So the notes for this meeting today will be in this document. And I see a few people are already in the folder. You've followed the link. Now, so if you want to add this to your drive so you have access to it later, you can go up to the top up here. Let's see here. Where is this? Move. Nope, I think it's under file. Sorry. There are some different places this might pop up. But one way I think always to find is to click under file and add shortcut to drive. So I'm going to click add shortcut to drive. And again, it's asking me where to put it in my drive. And I'm going to put it under teaching again. So maybe I might ask if there's a volunteer who would be willing to maybe show us or walk us through doing that step for yourself with any one of these files.
I'm not brave enough. Let's see.
Were you all able to open these attachments? Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
One thing I'm trying to do is to this thing that you shared, the building community notes and resources, all that, I want to put it into a new folder that I have not named yet. I see that there's an icon where when I clicked the shortcut, it says new folder. I click on it, but nothing is happening.
Okay. This is actually, maybe this is appropriate. So Nipan was asking also how to create a folder, and I didn't respond to that yet. So if you wouldn't mind, could you share your screen and we'll walk through creating a folder, renaming it on your screen?
Okay, let's see. Let me get to. So I didn't create a second window. I'm seeing how I'm going to share my screen. 1 second. Let me get it over here. And see if we can get to that section. There. So you could see my screen now that has your document on it, right?
Yeah, we do. I think
Okay.
it may be an internet speed or something. Okay, it's a little blurry, but it's coming in,
All
I
right.
think.
Okay.
So one thing that I would point out, because I'm not sure if it's clear to everybody. So one thing I'm noticing here, when you opened this document, it opened up a new tab. So there's a tab. Sorry, one second. There's a tab here, which is the Google Doc we're in now.
Right.
This is another Google document with the PD workshops and that sort of thing.
Right.
And then this is where your Google Drive is, right?
Right.
So I would go back to let's go back to the Google Drive main screen.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so good. So you have a bunch of folders here.
Mm-hmm.
So if we scroll down a little bit, is
So
this
it'll
where
have-
you wanted to create a new folder?
Well, no, it was creating it in the
Aha.
creating it in the well, it was just from that shortcut. I thought I'd be able to create it right away, right there.
Yeah, you can do that. So I'm sorry. I should have listened more carefully with what you were saying. So you could follow the link to go back to one of those documents, and we could try that again from where you were.
Let's see. Let's see. How do I get there? It's not going to be in my drive yet.
It's
or
not
shared-
saved yet.
or
So
yeah, or
we need to
shared with
follow-
me. So I'm going to find it. Yeah, I don't know where I'll find it at this stage.
You could go back to the chat and click on the link again.
All right, yeah.
Let me take the screen for a second and just to show how we create a folder from the beginning.
Okay.
Because there are some different ways, but maybe the easier way.
So you're going to do this on my screen?
No, I'm sorry. I'll do it from mine.
Okay, gotcha.
So let me show you how, because Nippon was asking.
So shall I stop share, or yours just overrides? Yours overrides
I
it?
overrode. Yeah. So here we are back. I think you'll see my screen, my student account. So I have these 3 folders, but let's say I want a few other folders. Like Melisca was saying, you can go up here to new and create folder. And so let's say maybe what else do I need here? Biking, I like to bike. So I store information about biking. Maybe a couple other folders. Travel. And then, but these are all the top level, but maybe I want to go inside teaching. And I have some folders, but maybe I have a new class I'm starting. I have a summer math class. And so just to show you again, I go to file, or not file, but I go up here to this plus new thing, click on folder, give it a name, and I like summer math. So it's going to create a folder wherever I currently am. If I went into the summer math class and then create a file, create a new folder there or a new file there, it's going to create it inside this folder here. Nippon, can I ask, am I responding to the question you asked or not yet?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, I got the idea. Yes, I got the idea. Yeah. Now I.
One thing that we can do, so like remember that when in teaching here, I added a couple things to my drive under the lessons. Oops. Oh, I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Under lessons, maybe I'll try again. Let's see here. Where's Kate's? Here's Kate's.
There it is.
Okay. So, but maybe I want to move it. Like here it is. Like one thing in terms of organization, it's in this lessons folder, but maybe I want to move it to another folder. So I can right click on it to get this menu and go to move. That's one way, or I can actually grab it and drag it
Oh, okay.
and just move it around like that. So let's say it's no, I don't want it in lessons, I want it in readings for students. Because students are going to work on it independently. I could just move it like that and let go. So now it's actually in readings for students. So one thing you might notice is that you click on these arrows. Like here's my drive. If you click on the arrow next to it, it expands so you can see everything underneath it. And you can actually move folders around this way too. It's a little dangerous, but you can click and drag and move things around. Or you can right click on them and click move like that. Michael, do you want to try adding that file again, like you had done before?
Let's see.
You would go to the, and this, or it could be someone else too, that what you want to do is you'll going back to the chat and opening up one of those files that I gave you. Are you able to add it to your drive?
So it says I can't share my screen while other participant is sharing. Okay.
All right, so I'm stopping mine. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'll get back to that there. So right now you can see the CUNY ALP PD series.
I do, yes.
Okay. So if I go into File on the upper left side, go into File and click Add Shortcut to Drive. Go Add Shortcut to Drive, and let's say, so I've got my drive, and I could add shortcut, but I want to. It's not here right now. Let's see, shared with me. All right, I'll put it in shared with me. And I see in the lower left in this box a section that says new folder, but it is gray. It's in a gray state, which I assume means I can't create a new folder right here. Right?
Well, but I think the reason why is because you're in the shared with me area. You can't. Okay. I don't think you can create a folder in the shared with me area.
Right. Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
if you go back.
That must be it. So if I put it just in my drive somewhere. And let's say here, I want to, there it's not grayed anymore. So now I could create a new, that was the problem then. So I created a new folder and call it PD files, something like that. And then create new folder in my drive. So the other thing is also grayed out here. Will it not let me do it, or? So I click check maybe, and no, it's not doing it.
There you go. Yeah. So
there you go. That was it. Check it, and then add shortcut here, and there it will be. Okay.
Now, if you go back to my drive, like the other tab.
So I could go into my drive here, or that's.
Or no, just above that, just above, like, so that you're going out, leaving the document and going to the other browser tab, up into the gray area.
Yes.
Keep going.
Oh, I see where I see right there. Yeah. So if I go there.
Yeah, and then go see if you can find that PD folder.
Okay, and I'll find it in my drive. I could do a search for it, or I see it. I see it here. I see it right there. PD files. I see it. Yeah, I see it there.
But but actually, this is one of the questions here was like, how do we find files after we save them?
Right.
So that's one thing is like, well, I know I created a folder called PD files, and I go searching and I go looking through my organization. But if you didn't create the file, I mean the organization, then how do you find the thing? Do you that place where you said search, right? You can search just like you would search the web.
Yeah.
So let's say, why don't you search ALP maybe?
Yeah, I know. I found it. In the end, I found it.
In the end, you found it.
Here it is.
Right.
I assume I'm still sharing the screen. So
yeah,
there it is. It's just, I suppose, like with any filing system, you have to be. You're either lucky if you remember the name of it, or you have or you have a system by dates or by category that where it's likely to be, or alphabetical.
So one thing I like about Google Drive is that it actually, there's a third option here. Let me, if you wouldn't mind unsharing for a second, let me show you something. I'm going to share my personal Google Drive because there's a ton of stuff on there. So I've been using this Google Drive, I don't know, for like 10 years or something. There's all kinds of stuff in here. My organizations is okay, but it's not perfect. I probably got way too many folders here. But you know, Mark and I have done workshops for years together, and we have notes in here for all kinds of stuff. So sometimes we're trying to find something. I usually just go up here. I don't go looking through the folders because I don't know where it is exactly. But you know, Mark and I have a workshop that we've called fence making. So if you see, I just start typing in fence making, and already 3 different folders and 2 different Google slide presentations showed up, like even before I finished typing. And I could just click on one of these and go there. Or I could hit enter. And here they are, plus a bunch of other stuff. So these are all the documents that have the word sense making in them.
Yeah.
So you can see all the different slideshows we've done for different workshops, our facilitator notes, you know, for going back for years. So sometimes an organization maybe isn't totally necessary, it's helpful, but it is possible just to, like, if you know what the words were in there, you could just go searching for it. So I want to give you all a little bit of time to practice because we've demonstrated a couple of things, but I want to give you all time to practice. Is there anything else I can show you before I let you go practice for a minute? What I'm going to ask you to do is create 2 folders, 2 files, and move a file into another folder. Does anyone want a refresher on that before you try it on your own?
Try.
Let's give it a shot. I'm gonna, in the chat, I'm gonna put the challenge. So the challenge is create 2 files, create 2 folders, move a file into a folder, and rename a folder. I think between those different tasks, you almost have everything you need to create some organization. I mean, the truth is I'm no expert at figuring out what the category should be, and that's a personal choice, but knowing how to create a folder and move stuff around is the first step, right? So I'm gonna open up breakout rooms so that folks can practice.
And you notice my folders, I only have Google Classroom. So that's, and all my assignments, all the lessons I put on since last year that I want to, you know, clear off and clean off and stuff like that. So I know that if I have to create, to create a file this year, right? I would have to go to new and, folder. I'll have to click on the folder if I want to create a folder, right? And then I will name this folder, whatever else it is. And I could probably in that folder drag in anything that I want.
Correct. You're right.
You know? And okay, let me just put new folder. So I just create a new folder. Okay. And this would be it. So I am assuming that I could probably drag what I want into this new folder instead of searching. So I could drag new things into here. And I am suspecting that I also could rename this new folder. If I click on it.
Does have them, okay. And so that's a file that was just so you didn't necessarily create a file, but you put files into the folder.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
That's what I was struggling with is where, I don't know, like if you want to create a file. So that's one of the things. He says, create 2 files, create 2 folders. So you created 3 folders and
I was able to drag some pictures into the folder. And so what did he say? How do we move?
The other one is move a file into a folder. I think you've done that, moving a file into a folder. You did that by moving the pictures over.
Yeah. And so now when I'm clicking on my personal picture, that folder, and I right-clicked.
Oh,
So I
right,
can
yeah.
now see all the options.
Yes, including rename, which is one of the other parts of the challenge, is rename. I see it right there, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So pictures, I don't necessarily see what year they were taken. Okay. Let me. So that's easy. You can just delete and.
Yeah, right. So I wonder, so does anyone know for just creating a file? It seems like the most basic thing, but I don't see the immediate way of doing that.
You can click new button. New.
Right. That creates a new folder though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, you go down to Google. If you want the Google
I see.
Doc
That's
sheet,
it. That's
I'm
it. Yes,
thinking
yes,
these are
yes.
mine and
That's
not
it.
my students.
So the files are below the folders. Then.
Yeah, these are probably, yeah, this is what I uploaded. This probably are my lessons. So I want to get them all together or just clean them off all together and have space for next semester. So when I'm finished with this class, I'm going to try to do that. Just clean it up, or probably put it on a USB if I can.
Eric, I have a question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Do
Let me
you
stop
use
sharing.
this sync? Do you sync your Google Drive with your computer?
I don't. I tend to just use it online through a browser. I know you can. If you sync, that means then you can save stuff to a certain folder on your computer and then it automatically goes to Google Drive,
Yeah.
right?
I've never done it before, but I mean, I'm just reading, you know, like it syncs the computer with your Google Drive, and it's sort of like as a backup. But
Yeah,
I wonder if you share a drive, like if we have a shared folder where everybody's, you know, like collaborating, and then the folder becomes like so large, you know, how much space of in your computer will that take? So
it's a good question. Actually, Rhonda, would you mind sharing your screen again? Because I'm a little surprised by how much space is taken up there. Because things like documents, worksheets, I don't know, essays, student writing, they take up very, very little space, like almost nothing. Deleting worksheets shouldn't, usually when you fill up your drive, it means you have like some videos in there or a bunch of photographs. Like normal word processing documents are very small.
Okay, 1 minute. I'm trying to get back to you all.
I'm wondering how to find out what is taking all that space.
Yeah, yeah, so to get back to you all, that's work that I posted, and whatever videos I had some videos that I would put up as a link, but then I stopped and I started to do them, you know, during class on Zoom. So most of these things are Word documents or PDFs.
Yeah, so these are things that you uploaded to your Google Classroom, correct?
Yes, all of these things here.
Yes, so that's one thing. The way the Google Classroom works is it stores the files, the things that you give to your students. It actually keeps it in your Google Drive. So you can see it through Google Classroom or you can see it through Google Drive. All these Word documents and these PDFs, but a point that I wanted to make, we're talking about Rhonda's drive. Her storage was almost completely full. If you look at your total storage, I think you may have like 9 or 10 gigabytes potentially. I'm not sure what other folks have. I'm actually paying for more because I used it so long. I have a lot of stuff stored there, so I pay $2 a month, I think, for extra storage. But one thing that happens with Google Drive, if you use Google Classroom for a class, any class that you have, or any class that you're a student in as well, right? I'll show you something here. So these are all the Google classes that I'm a student in or a teacher in. Mostly I'm a student because teachers have invited me just to take a look. So, you know, I don't know if you know Kitty, like I'm in her class, Kate has a class here. I'm not really a student, but I'm enrolled. And then some of them I am the teacher for. Each of these classes are in my Google Drive. So you can see here, ALC Advanced Math, BMCC Fall 2020. These folders are where all the materials are. Well, there's nothing there. I'm not the teacher, and I haven't done any assignments, so it doesn't get saved. But if I were to do some assignments, it would automatically get saved in my drive and also submitted to the teacher. For Rhonda, she has a bunch of files that are part of her class in Google Classroom. They somehow are filling up her drive. Word documents or Google documents, PDFs, all that stuff really take very little space. I don't think that's what's filling up your space. Maybe you uploaded a video or something like that to your class. You said you used links.
I would usually would do a link.
Yeah, that won't take up any space at all. So I'm just curious, and maybe we could get on a phone later and figure out what's taking.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to see you all, and that's my problem now. But I'm hearing you all. Just that I'm okay. I got you all now.
Can I ask? So what came up? What questions do we have? Like what did you figure out? What do you still want to know? Nipan, did you get your questions answered?
Yeah. I was able to create 2 folders, and then files. I was able to move files around, and yeah, that's great. Thank you.
And you're able to figure out how to create a Google document, like in another document. You know where to create them now?
Yeah, I guess it's pretty intuitive. I mean, you click on the folder and then go to plus, create new. I don't think I attempted to create a new file in a folder though. I dragged my existing, some of my pictures to a folder, and they showed up as files.
You want to show us what you did?
Michael,
could you show us what you did, Nipan?
So, yeah.
Okay, so you want me to share my drive? Okay. So what do you want me to show?
So which folder did you create?
So these are the folders I created. Pictures, and I renamed it, so your college and classroom.
Got it.
And in pictures, I was able to actually drag these pictures in this folder.
Got it, great. And then you created the Your College folder.
Mm-hmm.
So that maybe would be where your teaching materials will go.
Yeah.
So if you click into the Your College, so here are your course descriptions. You already have those there. Do you teach more than one class, I assume?
Uh-huh.
So and here inside of Your College, you might create a folder for each of your classes.
So, okay, so what do I do?
Can someone help, Nipan?
Okay, so I click here, and then...
Yeah, try it. Yeah, new folder.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, and then I'll rename it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. That's great. Okay, I needed to know this. Okay.
And then what if Nipan wanted to create a syllabus inside that folder, let's say? How would she do that?
Same procedure. Click there.
Yeah.
Click on the folder itself, and then right click to give the menu.
Okay. And then come back here, and then Google Doc.
You're creating a folder, right? Within it again?
If
I
want
was saying
to
if you want to do like a syllabus, sorry.
Or but wouldn't she have to use, as Michael was saying, create it first on Google Docs or Microsoft and then just store it in there? Probably Google Docs and just store it within your college folder? Save
You
it
can
to
do
your
it
college
either
folder.
way. You can do it either way. You can open up Google Docs and save it in the folder, but you can also in this folder create a Google Doc directly from the folder.
So if I want to create, so
Google
I will
Doc.
have to click here now.
Are you trying to create another folder?
No, you told me if I
file.
want to create a syllabus, for example, for this center.
Yeah. So you're in the right folder, but now you just need to create a document.
Okay.
So
look
that
for
would
Google
create that would
Docs.
create another folder.
Ow.
So what do I do?
Hmm.
Should I click here on new folder or should I go back to my left hand
Remember
side?
you had clicked on, right there. Then you will go to Google Docs here. You go down to Google Docs
Okay.
and then blank document.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you will create it. And then when you finish, you'll save it within that folder, as the Google document within the folder.
Okay.
So when we are working on with Microsoft Word in your computer, I think most of us, what we do first is create the document, right? And then we decide, okay, how am I going to save the document? And then you end up creating a new folder. But in Google Drive, it's all the way around. You first create your folder, and inside the folder, you create your document.
I think that's a good way to think about it. You can do it the other way as well. You can just go to Google Docs directly, but I prefer to go into my Google Drive so I know where I'm making the thing, and then I create it. It's interesting. It's still untitled. You see at the top, it says untitled document.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But if you
yeah.
go ahead and click on it,
Okay.
it automatically takes the top words, assumes that's what maybe you want to name it. And it's, look, it's already in your folder. You see how the little folders next to it? Because you created it in that folder, right?
Oh, I
And
see.
I don't
Okay,
have
so
to save it. It is automatically saved.
Yes.
It's automatically saved, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be automatically saved in a place where you don't know where it's automatically saved. In this case, you know where it is, right?
and it's not necessary to hover after it. So I see syllabus 2022. You don't have to, when you hover over that, it'll give you the rename option. You don't have to click rename to save that name. It's just renaming it. If by clicking rename only gives you the option of renaming it, I suppose, right?
And once I think you hit enter or you click out somewhere else, then it will be, yep, and you can change, yeah, exactly, you can change it.
Okay.
There.
All right. So there it is in that folder.
So we've gone on over a little bit, which is fine by me, but I know other folks might need to leave. If you want to stick around and have more questions, or you want to keep talking about this, I'm happy to stick around for a while. I'm also going to put my email in the chat. If there's a question you have that we didn't answer today, please email me. We could set up a time to work on this stuff individually. We could also schedule a part 2 if you all have interest in doing this again and you want to like practice for a while and then you run into some other problems and you want to meet again. We could do a part 2.
Great.
If there's interest, I'm happy to do it. Just let me know.
Okay.
I have one question about avoiding corrupting a document that's been shared with us, or yeah, that sort of thing. And I guess inadvertently sharing, that's probably fairly easy to figure out, how you don't inadvertently share something from your private side to the public side. But the one thing is that I want to avoid doing is corrupting a file that's been shared with me. But it's I suppose it has editor permission. But maybe that was done inadvertently, the editor part of it.
It's possible, yeah, for sure. Sometimes people might have shared edit privileges when they didn't mean to. One thing
I
that's
know
kind of nice,
I've done that I've done it
Yeah.
accidentally on a slide with students. Just in trying to give the permission quickly, and then I noticed, oops, it was editor, so they corrupted my slide.
yeah. So one thing we did. These are the notes that for today's workshop. It's also it's the notes for all the workshops we're doing these 2 weeks. We gave edit privileges to everybody who's connecting.
Okay.
So everyone can make changes to this. They can add information. It's a little scary. I mean, here's one of Mark's favorite jokes. I'll show you his favorite joke. He deletes everything in the document while you're looking at it. I'm like, all right, which is like terrifying, right? So, but all these documents have a history. So I just did Control Z, which is undo, right? Like this is undo, right? So, but what Google Docs now has that Microsoft Word is starting to have but didn't used to have is you can look at the history of a document.
Oh, I see.
So version history.
Right.
So I often do this with documents that have multiple people involved, or if I've been working on it for a long time. Maybe there's a mistake that happened a while ago. But you can look in here and see who's made changes, and or even if it's not that, like maybe I just there's a mistake that happened on June 4th. If I go back to June 3rd, this is the version from June 3rd. And if I click restore this version,
right,
it'll go back to that previous version of the document. And so anything that happened that may have screwed up the document will be gone.
Good.
I'll also lose all the changes that were happened. But if it's something important enough that I need to go back, I can. So that's under
document history or
document history. You can find it in a few places. It's here. This little thing, see document status, I think. Is that where it is?
Cloud check, yeah.
Is that right? No, maybe that's not. This is moving. I don't know. Stuff is on like different places, but it's here. File, version history. See version history.
All right.
But couldn't you make a copy before you went back if you needed to keep today's?
Totally, exactly. Yeah, right. So you could save a copy of the current version that might have a mistake or something, but also has a bunch of information you need. You could save a copy of that so you have it archived, and then take the current version and restore it to a previous version or something. Yeah, when Mark and I work on curriculum, sometimes we'll archive a version, and then we can go back if there was a mistake in there. Anything else that we should talk about?
Yeah, I wanted you to figure out, as I said, it shouldn't take much space, but I remember that we have what do you call that? We have the rosters. We have, for me, we have the rosters. We have for BCC. Yeah, we have. Let me just show you.
Yeah, you can share the spreadsheets. Shouldn't take up any space either. In terms of the actual storage, the kilobytes, megabytes.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out myself. So you see, hold on.
13 gigabytes is really huge. It's a lot of space.
So we have here, the roster for these 3 cycles and stuff like that. And then the rest is just Google Classroom. And I'm using this since last year, April, really. And everything that I do is here. So I think that's why I wanted to clean it up, because I'm like 89%. What did I do?
Yeah, so
and it's 15 gigabytes up. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Let me stop the share.
Well, I was wondering if we can go back and maybe we can figure that out.
Yeah, because I'm using this since last year, April.
Wait, share your screen one more time. Do you mind? I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
I just want to, because you shouldn't have to delete any of that stuff. Say it again. I'm sorry.
Say it again.
Can't you delete last spring's stuff?
Yeah, but the thing is that all these, like deleting a Word document, deleting a roster, that doesn't really, it's not gonna reduce that size at all.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what happened. So I used to give them YouTube links and stuff like that, and I stopped because they didn't watch it. So so I don't know what it is. And
Can you click on the word storage? What happens when you click on that? Ah, here we go. Bingo.
what?
So
Oh, now
when
you
you look at that, what do you notice when you look at this screen?
A lot of
Shared-
oh, those are the answers. I
shared
think-
documents.
Look at the far right column.
Far right column. You make up
So-
you mean how much it used to store? 27. Okay. So my question then is, are those the answers? That's why when I share them with my students, I'm trying to figure out what that means.
Why don't you open one up? Double click one of them.
Okay.
Ah,
It's a photo.
it's a picture.
So that's
27 megabytes. Why is it such a huge file size? It shouldn't be so big.
Because it's a
Oh.
photo. Well, still,
the
that's
photo of
But a
your
photo
student.
should be
Oh.
maybe 2 mega. I don't know. Still,
Oh, you know what happened? I think I know what happened. My students, these are probably the answers that they sent me.
yeah,
So all of them would, that's it. They would take a photo and they would upload it.
yeah. And it's very high resolution, even though it doesn't need to be.
Okay, so then I probably need to delete their responses.
But here's the thing. Check it out. Like the first one, right? It's okay to delete that first one, the legislative branch, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you know how to delete it?
I think I have to I know, probably right click. And it's supposed to show me a delete. I'm not showing a
remove at the bottom.
delete.
There's a trash and remove at the bottom.
Trash.
Go down. Down,
Okay.
down, down.
Okay, yeah, 1 minute. What happened is your stuff blocking me. Okay, now I see it. Sorry. So
Yeah, the Zoom stuff was in
now
the way. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I put remove. So
So you just removed 27 megabytes. So
so
yes.
these are there. Okay, I think you had me figured out. So these are the answers to the assignments that they photographed and uploaded.
Yeah.
And the 27 megabytes is not one photo, but a whole class
Yes.
of photos. Yes.
And sometimes they would upload 2 and 3. So that means I have to go back here then and clean out all of this.
Yeah, and notice they're in order from largest to smallest.
Yes,
And these are the priority items. You don't have to go deleting whole folders.
Yeah, these
Like,
are
so
the
some of
answers.
this stuff, look how it's 0 bytes. You don't need to delete any of that because it doesn't help you.
It's when they upload the photos. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So
this is-
okay. Thank you, Mr. Eric Appleton of Chimney
You're very
Central.
welcome. So,
Because I was wondering.
You just earned your wages.
Yeah, because like you, I'm like, I'm like, how in heaven's name? And I'm so glad you recognized it. And now I know when probably I should tell them don't upload photos and type in the content box. I think I may tell them that next session. Type within the confines of the box instead of doing the upload because it's eating up my stuff. I thank you very much. We have resolved a major world problem.
Yes.
let me show you one other little trick here.
Okay, I'm going to stop the share. Or...
No. Click on the top document that's still up there, the reading writing terms. Click on it once.
Oh,
Hit it.
sorry, let me go back. Sorry, sir. That's an itchy. I have an itchy finger. Hold on. Okay, let me go back then. Sorry.
You got a heavy foot too, probably on the pedal.
That's why I don't drive. Okay, so you wanted me to look at
no, so this is good. Where were we? How did we get to that section with all the things you needed to delete?
What happened is it was taking a while to to buffer. So I just clicked back, and it jumped from that, and it carried me back too.
Yeah,
It
so where are those documents that we need to delete?
under storage. We went
Yes,
to
let's
storage.
go back there. Yeah, good, okay, good. Click on that first one, but just click on it once, not twice.
Yes. That's the default, twice.
And then hit delete on your keyboard.
All right.
DEL.
Do you have delete?
Yeah, DEL.
Yep. Upper right corner.
Does that delete the file?
No, it does not.
Okay.
I think
Oh,
it just.
Oh, it did.
It did.
took
Oh,
a
I
few
have to. So I have to double tap the delete. Click on the file once and double tap the delete.
It might be easier than having to go to the menu over and over again, that's all.
Mm.
Yes. Mr. Eric, you have resolved some peace in the Google Drive world. We need to nominate you for some kind of major Google prize.
A Google Peace Prize, that's right.
Yes.
There you go. Yes.
Thank you so much. Now I know I have to go and clean up all of their photos that they sent me. I appreciate this. I'm going to stop the share now. Thank you very much. I was quite concerned that I may have to buy one of those gift cards with $100 to buy extra time.
You don't need to do that, I don't think, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
You can just send the gift card directly to me, Rhonda.
Thank you, Doctor.